basis for a Veterans Memorial is to certainly honor veterans, both in peacetime and in wartime. And again, I think it's important to note that this memorial is not a memorial to a given event, to a given historical event. It doesn't honor a given war or even peacetime. It honors the men and women who have served the country in uniform. And I think the connection between public institutions, as Saddleback College is, owes a great gratitude to the veterans.
Over time, looking back at history historically, we know that our World War II vets that had the post-World War II GI Bill would later become part of the largest middle class in our history. And part of my goal is making sure that we maintain the same standard for the World War II vets as we do for the Iraq War vets.
I think because we're one of the only colleges in the nation that has ever undertaken a project like this, I think that adds to the excitement.
And so he came to me and he said, can you do some kind of thing for the veterans as a memorial? And generally you don't say no to the president of your college, so I said yes, and we decided to try to do something. So we made a fired-in-place piece down on the other side of campus and invited all the veterans to come to the unwrapping of this piece.
I'd never been around a fired-in-place sculpture like this, and especially not anything this large, Essentially, it's like, you're pulling a piece out of a kiln that's, about 1,800 degrees or Fahrenheit or more.
What we wanted to do was have students, faculty, staff, administrators participating in the memorial, because that's the true spirit of Saddleback College, and that is the true spirit of what we're trying to represent.
Throwing sawdust, which ignited immediately, was sort of, it made me think about the internal heat and fire that goes on, and especially if you've been in an area where they're doing a lot of firing, there's tracers and that heightened awareness that comes from being in that kind of situation. It was really pretty amazing.
Most of the people that were out there watching were people that had never even experienced ceramics at all.
I just want to get your reaction to what happened tonight. What do you think about what was going on?
I'm deeply touched. I'm a retired United States Air Force First Sergeant, and to see anything that honors the veterans of this country means the world to me. And I think it's a monumental thing that Saddleback College is doing to step out like they are and to make this proclamation on behalf of the veterans and those who have served and gone on before us, and just honor the duty and the code and the sacrifices that they and their families have made.
And in some ways, the way that the military was treated after Vietnam was in my regard, despicable. People have to remember that we're serving our country, and we're told where to go and when to go and what to do. And that's part of serving. And whether you agree with what's going on, you still do it because it's deemed necessary by some. None of us always agree about everything. So, you have to keep all of those things in perspective.
An interesting story was we went through a bunch of diagrams and models and so forth that Fred Olsen and Richard White would bring to the committee. And nothing fit, nothing seemed right. And then they brought in the design that we're currently using. That pattern of having the two walls and the centerpiece with the negative and the positive image, it was very, very emotional.
Well, Rich McCullough came to me when he was president, and my position at the college is raising funds for different projects. And we started a task force to raise funds for the project. We wanted to see it happen because we thought something of this size and scope is really precedent setting for a college campus. And I must say that the project, we had no idea how much it was going to cost. It's kind of a work in progress, even as far as the funding goes. It's been a work in progress. We didn't know what the budget was going to be initially. Then we came up with the idea of putting names at the memorial site. And we're selling bricks. If it was one line, it's $100. Then it goes up to the 3 lines is $250. In addition, in the pavers leading up to the memorial, we have 12 by 12 pavers, and that's $1,000. And we have quite a few organizations and quite a few people who have contributed that.
One of the things that we really wanted to do at the very beginning was make it a college project, not go out and buy a kit or have something just brought in. We wanted it to be constructed, and the people that would be best to do that would be the students.
Well, about a year ago, there was a class that was associated with the project called Sculpture in Public Places, and I took that class. And in theory, we were supposed to be making the tiles at that point, but the project wasn't fully funded yet. And then over vacation at the end of 2008, we started actually working on the tiles.
If the whole wall were just one monotonous color, it wouldn't be good. So we had to figure out a way, not only texture, which we do, but also to flash and to fire them in very interesting methods. We had to have a combination of them all, so when you put the whole thing together, you have highly interesting parts, focal points to look at, and then you can go along and it blends in, and then it goes, all of a sudden you see another focal point, so people can read a lot of things and see a lot of things in it.
If we raise $100,000, the memorial can be completed and finished and dedicated. We've raised about $35,000 of that, so we're about a third of the way to go. We're hoping to do that in the next 6 months. What's interesting about a memorial like this is it's on a public institution. We can't use public funds for it, so it needs to be private funding. And I think some people don't realize that. They think, oh, it's a public college, they'll do it. But this is truly a community project, something that has to come from the surrounding area.
I think this school, and this monument really has to do with this is appropriate. This is a good thing to do. You can have your feelings and make your judgments about what's right or wrong. What this monument talks about is the very fact that yes, people will make that commitment, they'll make that sacrifice, and they should be recognized for it. And I think that's what this monument's about. And it would have been nice to have something, when I got out, so be it. But you know what? This is more than enough to have it even happen now, 40 years later.